Good morning, Homestead. I'm Greg Gilio. This is our weekly video message for February 17th, 2023. And this is the Friday before break. So I know we're all excited about that. So looking forward to getting a little break going on here. So we also had just a few entries this week. So I don't have a lot of information to give out, but got a few. There was a shout out to Mr. James Aguirre, formerly Mr. James Ratty. It was, as the quote says here, he's an amazing English teacher. He builds strong relationships and he gives prompt feedback, aka grades, which we all know is really hard to do. Also want to give a shout out to our PTSA for helping support a lunchtime intramurals program. And we have three of our staff members, Jerome Holloway, Sean Hook, and Adrian Juanrostro, who are going to be leading that. So they're going to be setting up some stuff after the break. So looking forward to getting some activities going at lunchtime with our students. So like some basketball, maybe some soccer, flag football, that kind of stuff. So excited about all that. So thanks PTSA and thanks those three guys for helping out. Really only one question or concern came up, and it's kind of the same question. There's been some questions about, why don't we get more information about when there's a staff investigation or a student investigation, and we hear about discipline, we hear about this or that. And quite honestly, the answer is that's not information that we are allowed to give out at times. So, if anybody, when you're working in a company, there are personnel issues. Those don't get shared with the whole company. They might get shared with the individuals that are directly involved. So if there is a complaint or a concern that's brought up about a staff member, there is a process that we go through, and we definitely do that. And then we talk to the folks that are directly involved. We don't share that information. Same thing with students. And again, I know it's a little bit harder because students tend to talk and information gets out there, and people might know or think they know all the facts about a discipline incident or something that went on here at campus. But you're not going to hear us talking about it because we have a very strict, we can't talk about student issues. We can't, give information about students. We can't talk to people about the discipline that we do. There's a lot of confidential information that goes on. So again, those who are directly involved will be able to know. And so the example I always like to give is, let's say there's a kid who cheats in a math class. People in that math class might want to know what happened to that kid or what the consequence is, or a parent might say, what happened to that kid? Well, the only person that's going to get to know what happens is the student themselves and their parents, as well as the teacher. And so even though your kid is in that class and you're not privileged to get that information. Same thing with, just because you're a student on this campus doesn't mean you get to hear what happens to other students. Now, again, they may talk about it, they may let you know what's going on, or they may give you their version of what's going on, which sometimes doesn't always include all the information. But it's also why, whenever you hear a news story saying, hey, this incident happened in a school and the school had no comment, it's not that they're trying to hide anything. We are trying to hide anything. We just are not allowed to give out confidential information. For instance, someone could call and say, hey, can you tell me if Timmy Smith is a student there? And we can't even give that information unless it's a law enforcement agent or somebody that's dealing with a school specific information. I can't just give out information like, yeah, that kid goes to my school, or so there's a lot of things that we're not allowed to give out. So just know that while we are working on a lot of things, when you don't hear from us about things, it's only because you're not directly related and involved in it. And we don't make school-wide announcements saying, hey, we disciplined this child today on this issue. We had this incident and we dealt with it. It's very, very rare that something like that ever happens. And so there are times where it does happen, but to be honest, most of the times it doesn't. So that's why you don't hear a lot. And that's why I'm not going to be going into specifics about anything that might be going on right here. So, but again, if you're directly involved and you haven't heard, then that's a different issue. So that's something that you can come talk to me about. Other announcements we have this week. So again, today, the course forms, our selection forms are due today. Excuse me. Please make sure your students turn those in to Infinite Campus and to IK12. There's two different forms out there, so make sure they get them in. Also, make sure they've included their alternative choices. That is going to be helpful this year in terms of getting everybody their classes. And remember, in April, you're going to be receiving a letter that has a list of all the courses. This isn't your schedule. It isn't your, it isn't your who's teaching your class, that kind of thing. It's just a list saying these are the classes you signed up. Please verify that those are the classes you still want. And that's your last sort of check before we start building the overall schedule. So today's a big day in course selection process. So please get that in. Someone else, we actually have an opening for staff member for our academic center, which is sort of our after school tutoring and peer tutorial, peer intervention kind of thing. So we're definitely looking for somebody to come in and help out. So we're throwing the net out there widely, seeing if any parents have an interest in it. It's 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week, basically 2 to 4:30. If you are interested, go to the PowerPoint that's on the blast here and click that link right there, and it'll take you to the posting, and you can put your application in. Or if you have questions, you can always go to Paula Mockler there, who is overseeing that process. I have a couple announcements from the foundation. They have 2 big events coming up, and they're interested. Also, another chance for you to click on some stuff here. But they have a parent education webinar happening on March 9th. As you can see there, it's by Dr. Heidi Kasevich, and it's the power of quiet leadership, setting the stage for introverts to thrive. There's a description of it. Again, if you click on that link, it'll take you how to register. The other event that they have coming up is their Spring for Education 2023. It's a fundraising dinner and silent auction. It's April 7th at 5 p.m. At the Quinlan Center. So again, you can click on that and get information. So please support our students and our foundation by going to either one of those or both of them. That'd be great. Our traffic reminders. I know traffic gets a little hectic out there, but just a reminder that the speed limit in front of Homestead and in the surrounding neighborhoods is 25 miles an hour. We do want to be good neighbors. We want to be safe. Please make sure you are driving slowly and appropriately. I know sometimes we want to get to places. It's better that you are a couple minutes late than you get a speeding ticket or you hit somebody or cause an accident. So please be careful with that. And also, again, bikes, seeing a lot of bikes driving through the student lots and the staff lot. Please do not do that. You know, as I always say, cars and bikes are not a good mix. That's not a place we want to make sure that people are going around. So use the bike path. Or come up the access road. Don't go in front of the school. Don't go down the parking lots. Also, we're getting a lot of kids who are still parking their bikes on the baseball fences and the bleachers, and baseball season is starting. So we need you guys to not do that. You're going to start getting notes. We're going to start moving your bikes and having to cut locks if we can, because that interferes with the ability to play on the field and to get access to things. So I need you to make sure that you are not doing that. So please help us out there, bikers. Some important dates for you. We have this week, as I say, or next week, the February break. So have a great time. Hope you get some relaxing fun out there. When you come back, we have a Cash for College spring presentation on 2/28. Again, you can go to our college and career website and see more information about that. And same thing for the March 2nd college information night for juniors and parents. Again, it's time for you to kind of start looking at what you guys are going to start working on for next year, if you haven't started already. Those of you who are going to college. Then we have March 10th, we have a dance. We have the Spring Fling dance. So nice to have a little fun activity going on there. We also do not have school on March 13th. This is a staff work day, and school kids are not here. So enjoy that day off as well too. We do have during the week of 3/14, that's March 14, we have a special schedule for CASP testing. That's our state standardized testing. It's going to be ramping back up after a few years of being interrupted and abbreviated with the pandemic. It's something that every school is required to do, and we need your participation. We need to have 95% participation rate. So we look forward to having all of you there and being able to give us some data and information about how we're doing. March 17th, besides being St. Patrick's Day, is the last day to drop the class with no reflection on the transcript. So again, after that, you will get marked with a grade or possibly an F or a W. Make sure that if you need to drop a class, you do so. And you do it now by that time, so you don't have a mark on the transcript. ASB elections ASB is having an informational meeting about elections on that day as well too. So those of you who are interested in running for ASB elections in your office, please do that. And then just another big fun thing coming up, our sort of spring, what's it called? The school spirit activity. It's the Battle of the Classes. So that's always a lot of fun. So March 20th, Battle of the Classes. Well, that's all I have for you today. Again, I just want to wish you all a great break and hope you have some fun plans. You get to spend some time with your kids and your family. And take care and have a great one. I'll see you when we return in 2 weeks. Take care.